Well, before we go any further in discussing quantum energy, let's just do a reset, everybody, in case you are in the last 5 minutes, like, they're like, what the heck is quantum energy? I think mostly people watching this, and everybody, they want to know, how it can benefit me, how it can help me change my life, how it can help me in my day to day, how this technology, they don't need to understand how this actually works, like we don't need to understand how the lights and electricity work and stuff like that. Most importantly for people is how they can use it. So I wanted to ask you, what are your most inspiring stories of people who changed their life with this technology? People, real life situation, real people that you witnessed over time, and what they told you, how they feel, like how they transformed. I like to hear, and everybody likes to hear more of these stories. Can you tell us, some of your most inspiring examples?
I've used this technology in a different form in a clinical setting, and I may have told this story before. I'll tell it quickly. I remember a woman who came into my practice several years ago, and she was, as I went through the health history and the exam and everything, she basically was showing all of the signs of scurvy. And so I started to inquire about her diet. Are you getting enough vitamin C? And she was eating plenty of food with vitamin C in it. She was actually supplementing with vitamin C. It didn't make sense that she would be showing scurvy symptoms when her diet was as robust as it was. And when I did a scan, it was a different kind of scan, but it was a different technology. What showed up actually was vitamin C. And so what I did is I gave her, through another mechanism, an InfoBoost for vitamin C. And within about 3 days, all of her symptoms resolved. They all went away. And I think the reason is, as I mentioned earlier, she was getting the chemistry, but for some reason she wasn't processing it correctly. Her body needed the blueprint. And so by giving her the information, her body said, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do with vitamin C. So that's one example. The other, there are lots of examples, but actually, Vitaly, the ones that you told us at the beginning, we're collecting those kinds of experiences faster than I can have them personally. I happen to be fairly energy sensitive. And so when I turn on an InfoBoost, I will almost always feel the effect within 10 to 15 seconds. I don't know that most people are that sensitive. Some people I know will turn it on and they'll say, well, what am I supposed to feel? And that's one of the reasons why I mentioned this trick where you can talk about a specific topic. So if somebody has some pain, for example, instead of just talking about themselves generally, they could talk about their pain. Oh, I have some low back pain that bothers me all the time. That then becomes their voice print, and that will then bias the scan results to direct them to boost ingredients that will have a more profound effect on their pain.
I would like to hear a couple more, please.
Well, I know Ron has some pretty profound experiences. I know that he, in fact, I was just talking to him a couple of days ago. There he is, a smiling face. Ron, why don't you tell us about Lomatia and your experience with your asthma?
You bet. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, I've had two major experiences. In the very beginning, I created a formula, if you will, by accident. And the results were, I've had ringing in my ears for about 8 years, nonstop. Some people call it tinnitus because of other things. But nevertheless, that went away after 2 hours of me turning on this particular formulation. Then that happened a year ago, but what's happened over the last 3 to 4 months has been more amazing. That's when we've been using the voice-activated spark scan. And so each each couple weeks I run a new one, and my body improves and it comes more into balance. But the thing that happened for the last 10 years, I've had asthma, and every year it gets a little bit worse. So it's been concerning to me. But since I've been using the Spark scan every couple weeks, in the last about 4 months, all my asthma symptoms are totally gone. I mean, I don't have any signs of it whatsoever. And it was concerning to me because I could see every year it was getting worse. And now I don't have any signs at all. And the only thing I've done different in my life is the voice-activated Spark scan. So for me, my body is receiving something in the information energy field that's actually reprogramming, helping my body process this information in such a way that it's making it more efficient. And those deficiencies that I have apparently are not there because I don't have any signs whatsoever of these symptoms anymore.
Before we continue, I would like to have Carl to share his experience with Limbic Arc. I know he has an amazing story and results to share. Carl, why don't you will come up and share for a minute what you experienced?
Sure. By the way, Dr. Cook, thank you very much for creating this. I suffer from diabetic nerve pain, and it's, anybody who has it knows how excruciatingly painful it can be. It used to wake me up in the middle of the night. And, when Daniel on here showed me this, you got to think quantum energy, this is like Looney Tunes stuff people kind of think about, right? So I decided to try it, and within probably less than 24 hours, and I've been on this thing now for 9 days, I have not had the pain for 9 days straight. Okay? And to me, this is worth every penny I have to pay, because doctors couldn't give me medication or creams or anything to get rid of that. I've tried everything, and I've spent hundreds of dollars on stuff to try and get rid of it. Okay? The second thing is I don't handle stress very well. I had a major breakdown years ago, and ever since then, I haven't handled stress very well, right? Daniel and both Vitaly can contest to how I can go off the wall stressful when just a minor thing comes up. So I put the stress thing on, and I'm going through this season. My kids are coming in from all over the place. They drove through snowstorms and everything. Normally, I'd be stressed out of my mind. And no matter how much I try to think about it, I couldn't stress myself out. And that is like the craziest thing. I mean, I can't explain it. I don't care to have to figure it out. I'm just glad it works.
I wanted to let Daniel talk for a couple minutes about his experience with this.
Hey, Vitaly, thank you. And thank you, Dr. Cook, for creating this. And I guess I'm going to get real here. I think of myself as an optimist and positive person, but when Jamil shared this with me, I was 100% certain that this was not going to work. Like I knew this was not going to work. I even planned to cancel it after 3 days, but I joined because Jamil's a friend of mine. And I went in there and I set up the app. I did the voice for 10 seconds and I chose energy and I just left it. I did it on my computer and I just forgot about it. And anyway, after 3 days, I canceled it because that was my plan. The 4th day, Jamil calls me up and says, I see you're doing this. I said, yeah. And I thought it wasn't working until we got on this call, and I was on a call with Jamil and Dino. And Dino was explaining how it works and everything. And I said, I don't even want to know the science behind it. If it works, it works. And if it doesn't, he said, maybe you set it up wrong. What did you do? And he said he put on, I said, I put on energy. And he stopped me and said, well, you're not supposed to have energy on 24/7. And the light bulb went on. I just went through the last 4 days in my head. I couldn't sleep. I was getting 1 to 2 hours sleep a day. I remember one specific time I was at the gym at 3 in the morning, wide awake, wondering what's going on. I did one of the best workouts I've ever done in my life. Like I had so much energy. It was crazy. And So yeah, so I knew it worked then, and it was really easy to cancel, but it was also really easy to reactivate. I just pressed a button. I didn't even have to talk to anybody. After I found out it was working, I tried weight loss because I've been wanting to lose some weight. I did it at night. The next day I woke up, I had no hunger pains at all. Like usually I wake up hungry. I wasn't hungry. And I've had this on the weight loss for about 10 days. I've lost 6 pounds and I've had no appetite. I still eat, but my servings are much smaller. I usually have the biggest serving, and I've been having the same size serving as my 3.5-year-old. And last night I used sleep. For the first time, I tried the sleep InfoBoost. It was one of the best sleeps I've ever had. And this is coming from a very skeptical person who's not skeptical about this anymore. I'm very excited about it.
And your wife had insomnia, right? Your wife had insomnia and she sleep.
My wife has insomnia. We've been married 4.5 years. We've known each other 5 years. And she sleeps a few hours a day and that's it. And she turned on the sleep, and every time I walk in the room, she's either up or she wakes up, especially if I say anything, but she usually wakes up before that. She had sleep on for 3 days in a row. I walked in, she didn't wake up. I said, "Nicaine, are you sleeping?" Nothing. She was like in a deep sleep. I couldn't believe it. For 3 days. I come in the 4th day, she wakes up. I said, "You don't have your sleep InfoBoost on." And she said, "No, I don't." I could tell right away. Like I noticed the difference. It was huge.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's very inspiring, Daniel. Thank you for sharing this. How about you, Jamil?
Oh, me, myself. My story is this. I have asthma, and I knew that if I was to take a slice of pizza, it will flare up my asthma. So what happened was I ordered some pizza. I took a slice. Normally I would stand away from pizza because I'm trying to lose weight and all this other stuff, right? So I ordered some pizza for my kids. I took a slice, and then I had a webinar going on. So I turned on the allergy right afterwards. And normally after I have a slice of pizza, I have to go for my inhaler and like kind of take a puff or so. But I went on to my Zoom meeting. It lasted about 20 or 30 minutes. And then right after it was done, I by reaction, I just reached for my inhaler and I started breathing. I'm like, wait a minute. This is clear. I don't even need it. So at that point, I was like, it's working. And that really got me excited. Like, wait a minute, let me just test it some more. Maybe it's a fluke or something. But no, it really kicked in. And for the last few days, I did take my inhaler once the other day, but it was pretty dusty where I was located. But as far as I can tell right now, this allergy stuff is working. I'm feeling really energized with the energy boost and everything. So, man, I'm excited about this.
So you've not been using an inhaler only once in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I used probably 2 times after I took the allergy. But, again, I was born with asthma, and, so it's always been in me. So right now it's like tremendously dropped to 2 times out of normally using it every single day, so yeah, that's shocking to me right now.